Hello everyone, I'm Anando Mukerjee and I'm coming to you from DESIblitz, and we're here at the Bradshaw Hall at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire just before the first night of Wagner's Der Fliegende Holländer, the Flying Dutchman, which has been produced by Persona Arts. The artistic director is Byron Jackson and the director is Iqbal Khan.
DESIblitz.com.
Basically, it started when I was in India as a schoolboy. I came from a Bengali home. Bengalis are naturally very artistic people. My mother was a pianist. She introduced my brother and me to music at a very early age. So we used to play the piano and learned how to play the piano. But when I was about 13, I discovered I had a voice. It was an operatic voice. And I just got hooked onto the art form, and then I kept singing in choirs. And then when I came to England to go to university, when I finished, I decided to become an opera singer, and that's when I started training in earnest and then making my way into the profession. And during that time, this is about nearly 20 years ago, I met Byron Jackson, and we've been friends ever since. And it was Byron who has undertaken this remarkable project for his company Persona Arts to mount this first ethnically driven production of Der Fliegende Holländer, the Flying Dutchman by Wagner. And so because we're good friends, but also because he appreciates my singing and my artistry, he asked me to be part of this project, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm playing the main tenor role, which is Eric. But what drew me to this project was several things. One, of course, it was the fact that it was being produced by Byron, who's a dear friend. It's a remarkable achievement because he's had funding from the Arts Council, which is very unusual because they usually fund well-established companies. So it's a startup, and therefore it's noteworthy to be part of this project because it may lead to huge things in the future. But the other musical reason why I was attracted to the project was because I've never actually sung Wagner in public in an opera. I've sung a lot of Wagner arias in concerts, and I was a finalist in the Wagner competition 10 years ago, but I've never done a Wagner role on stage. I've always been an Italian and a French repertoire tenor, so this was a huge opportunity to spread my wings in a different kind of repertoire, and it was a challenge because it is very, very full-on, it's very dramatic, but the challenge is to sing it in that beautiful Italianate bel canto way, which is what Wagner wanted. Well, Wagner is particularly challenging because of the German language. He uses a very stylized and archaic form of the German language, which is known as Hochdeutsch, which has a lot of ancient words as well as words from German folklore. So unless you're a native German speaker, it is a great challenge to learn it properly and to have the right pronunciation, to have the right style. And then, of course, it is important to sing it in a bel canto style. People think there's a difference in the vocal technique between a Wagnerian singer and someone who sings Italian opera, and that's a wrong. It's a wrong distinction, but it is dramatic music. It's you're singing against a huge orchestra. You've got to project your music, so it's like painting a picture. There are layers and layers and layers of preparation, learning the notes, learning the language, preparing it with a coach, getting it into the voice, and then of course performing it off copy several times, both with a pianist and on stage, and then it should become like second nature. So it's a long process, but very rewarding in the end. There's a reason why these are called classics, because they are universal in their appeal and their themes, and they are timeless in their appeal. Even though they were written a long time ago, they resonate with all audiences in every place and for all time, because they talk about universal themes. So the Flying Dutchman really is about the theme of redemption, being redeemed by love, and that is a very powerful human instinct. We all want to know where we came from, where we're going, what's it all about, and there is this deep human longing for redemption, for salvation, and these are powerful themes that cut across all cultures, all religions, and that's why the Flying Dutchman speaks to that very elemental, deep, instinctual aspect of the human psyche and the human personality, which is the need for salvation, and that's why it's contemporary even today as it was then. It's a wonderful team. Of course, Byron I know extremely well. I've worked with him for 20 years. And it's wonderful that a friend is doing so well and has created a project of such importance. And it's a great privilege to be part of it. But the team also, some of them I know, like the singer who's playing Darland, Paul Goodman Groen, who's a bass baritone who I've known, again, for nearly 20 years. We did Rigoletto together years ago. So it's good to meet old friends and also to make new ones, like Wyn Williams, who's singing the main soprano role of Zenta, and Laura Woods, who's singing the main mezzo role of Mari. Wonderful singers, very distinguished, important careers, and you learn from one another, you admire each other's artistry, they help you raise your game. And as far as funny moments go, yes, there have been many funny moments, such as trying to create comic effect in an otherwise very serious opera. But I think those are sort of relegated to the rehearsal room. Hopefully, the audience will laugh occasionally when they see the slightly lighter moments in the opera. this opera, this particular opera company, Persona Arts, is groundbreaking because it's a grassroots movement. It's been built from the ground up. It's not an established company, and yet it has received this massive funding from the Arts Council. And Byron's been able to pull together a group of singers from all across the Commonwealth, from India, from Trinidad. Byron himself is from Jamaica, and then you've got singers from America, not part of the Commonwealth, but certainly part of the English-speaking world, and then of course Mari, who is Welsh, and Laura, who's English. And so it really is a very diverse collection of people. And then you've got obviously the chorus, who are not a professional chorus, but the chorus is made up of people from many of them from very underprivileged backgrounds, many of whom are Asian or Afro-Caribbean, but also people who are English, who come from working class backgrounds, people who don't normally have access to the world of opera or classical music. And of course the director is Pakistani in origin. You know, Iqbal Khan was the man who was the director for the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony in 2022. So I think it's a unique project that Byron has been able to pull off, and it will break a lot of barriers, showing that you can produce top-class international opera with a professional orchestra and an amateur chorus and professional soloists who are as diverse as we are. Some of us are conservatoire trained, many of us aren't. I'm not conservatoire trained, but I've had the privilege of singing all over the world. So in that sense, I think it is a very, very important step to democratizing the art form. All the world's a stage. It doesn't, no matter how small or no matter how large. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how important or how large the stage is or how small it is. Of course, I've been very privileged to sing in some very important concert halls and opera houses across the world. As far as the Royal Opera House goes, I didn't sing on the main stage. I sang in the crush bar. I think the point that I'm making is that we're performers. Wherever we get a chance to perform, we love to perform. And we have to honor the music, we have to honor the drama, and we have to honor the composer's intentions. And most of all, we've got to entertain the public. And so I think my experience of having sung on some of the best stages in the world have given me confidence, have given me experience, have given me the ability to perform at the highest level, and it's important. And that, I think, has enabled me to bring all of that, I suppose, professional experience to bear on this particular performance. But this particular performance by no means is a small stage. It is a massive stage. It's a huge, brand new concert hall in the second city of the United Kingdom. So it's a big deal. Well, if I would use one phrase, to be blown away, quite literally. I mean, Wagner is big music, so and this is not a particularly large concert hall, so they will be pinned against the wall by the sound, both by the orchestra and the soloists. An opera is about that visceral, physical experience of hearing live instruments and the the glory of the human voice. And it's something that people are deeply moved by. I've always been surprised by the fact that, people have said how moved they were when they heard opera singers sing. And that's the reason I became an opera singer, by the wonder of the human voice and the wonder of a full symphony orchestra playing. I think that's one experience I want people to have. But secondly, I think I want them to be moved by the story. It's a deeply moving story about a universal theme, redemption. And I want them to be uplifted by that, and for that to speak into their lives. It's not just a fictitious play, but something that speaks to their lives. What makes them want to have redemption in their lives? And I think they want, and also to have an appreciation for the operatic art form, to see that it's not removed from them, it's immediate, it's a real story, it's a human story, it's immediate, and for them to be intrigued by it, and for them either to become fans, which is wonderful because we need fans. If we don't have fans, we don't work, or for them to want them to enter the profession, because we constantly need new talent. Follow your dream, never give up, have faith. And I'm a Christian, and I'm also trained to be a vicar in the Church of England. So my Christian faith has helped me a great deal in being able to deal with the great sort of rejections and pushbacks that I've got. But it's never held me. But my faith has never held me. What I'm saying is the rejections have never held me back. I've persevered. Perseverance is everything. And the world is a much more different place now than it was 20 years ago when I started. We're in a far more diverse, multicultural, accessible society, and the whole aspect, one of the main drivers of this project is to reach unreached audiences. So if people from an Asian or Afro-Caribbean background are attracted by this, they should do it, because even though it's not their culture, it is universal, and opera is as universal to them as I would say Bharatanatyam is universal to people from Europe, because they talk about these eternal qualities and aspects of human life.